Here's the new map. Got that up. A far more colorful version than is in the book. I'm guessing they released certain books that had the colored maps to them. But the ones I have do not. They're just the black and white. So yeah. Cloudmaker Mountain, Ikaya, the Ice Fortress, scale in miles. So yeah. I think we're all set up to go. Hi, Slow, welcome in. Ugh. So, figure I'll get us started here. So yeah, we added Mind Over Matter. We have our Summer Sword and Broadsword, 18 on the belt pouch. We have a meal and rations. The Lamp Sword Potion, Tinderbox Torch, Map of Summerlin, Map of Kalte, Crystal Star, Seal of Hammerdal. Actually, we probably don't have the Seal of Hammerdal anymore. In sound effect, think of Skyrim. Well, we are going into the cold, so it tracks. I think these adjustments will work. I think we're good to go. So as a quick catch-up, starting right over here. The news that Vonater still lives spreads like wildfire throughout Summerland. Thousands Summerlendings surround the capital and demand that Vonatar be made to pay for his treachery. So great is the outcry that the king is obliged to promise that the evil traitor, will be brought back to Homeguard and made to stand trial for his crimes. For you, Lone Wolf, the king's promise is the start of a quest that will pit you against a hated foe deep within the hostile caverns of Kalte. Design job, yeah. We went through equipment. We're good on equipment and skills. Your mission will be fraught with great danger, for Kalte is a bleak and hostile land, and your foe is a master of cunning. Use the map at the front of the book to help you plot your course to the ice fortress, Vikea. Make note as you progress through the story, for they will be a great help in future adventures. Many things that you find will aid you during your adventure. Some special items will be of use in future Lone Wolf adventures, and others may be red herrings of no real use at all. So be selective in what you decide to keep. There are many routes to the Ice Fortress of Ikea, but only one will enable you to capture Vonatar and return to Summerlin with a minimum of danger. A wise choice of Kai disciplines and a great deal of courage should enable any player to complete the mission, no matter how weak his initial combat skill or endurance point score. Successful completion of previous Lone Wolf adventures is not essential for the success of the quest. The betrayal of your country can be avenged by bringing the traitor to justice. Good luck. That's right. Today we have Vile Smasher the Fierce as our Guardian of the Book page. Front of the book. Let's draw and quarter them. Indeed. Alrighty. If everyone's ready to go, we're gonna get going. Even before you accept the task of bringing Vonatar to justice, preparations were being made for your voyage to Kalte. The captain of the summerlanding warship, Cardinal, having returned from a long Kalteries patrol, was ordered to await your arrival in Anse Cavern. During the night, food, ice, equipment, and canoe dog teams were taken on board. The mission was highly secret. Only senior members of the crew were told the true nature of the voyage that lay ahead. The plan is to set you ashore on Howell Bluff, drop anchor, and await your return. An elite team of trusted guides will lead you from the bluff to Achaia. Once inside the ice fortress, you are to hunt down and capture Vonatar, and then return with your guides to the ship. Your mission will be accomplished within 30 days at most, for winter is closing in and no ship can withstand the grip of the Kalte pack ice. If you do not return in time, the captain will be forced to set sail without you. For 6 days, the Cardinal sails across the stormy Kalteries without running into a storm, but every day the temperature steadily drops until a layer of ice covers the deck. On the morning of the 7th day, the snow-capped island of Tola is sighted on the horizon. Soon after, a light wind rises from the west. At first, there appears to be little danger, but within half an hour a furious blizzard is blowing, and all sight of land quickly vanishes in the scudding drift. All day the furious gale rages. Tremendous winds slice the top of the huge gray waves, and water crashes over the decks, masts and rigging of the ship freezing almost immediately into solid ice, the sides of the ship becoming several feet thick with seawater. It is not until early evening that the weather clears, and although the wind still blows strongly, the force of the gale is spent. You are soon to discover that the gale has blown the ship nearly 30 miles off course, along the lip of the Leduc ice shelf. You know that to return to Howell Bluff would waste a precious day, so you decide to land on the ice shelf and start your mission from there. At the last of the As the last of the canoe dogs are carried ashore, your guide tells you of the two possible routes to Achaia from here. The first route involves a 130-mile trek to Cloudmaker Mountain, and then, following the difficult terrain of the Viad Glacier, a further 100 miles would be covered before you arrive at the ice fortress. The alternative route involves a longer journey of nearly 180 miles into the Harad Basin, followed by a trek of 100 miles through the Storm Giant Pass to Achaia. Even if the weather and your luck hold good, either route will involve 10 days of hard trekking before you reach your goal. You should consult the map of Kalte at the front of the book before making your decision. Guides are dead. Sounds like Lake Superior. So, let's go to the map. So let's see. We sailed. Where did we land? Because we were supposed to land. Okay, the Leduc Ice Shelf is off to the right. Leduc Sound is off the left. Look, Leduc Ice Shelf, there we go. Leduc Howell Bluff is where we were supposed to land. Okay, that's where we were supposed to land. So we ended up So we were supposed to land here, it looks like. And we landed closer to there. That's what it looks like. Storm Giant Pass, right? So it seems we're on the ice shelf. The first route involves a 130 miles trek to Cloudmaker Mountain. So Cloudmaker Mountain Okay, that's in the very center. So they're saying going to here, and then following the difficult terrain of the Viad Glacier, a further 100 miles must be covered for you. So this is the Viad Glacier here. So they're saying to... Basically, this is the most straight path. That's what they're saying. And yeah, there seems to be a Storm Giant Pass right there, Viad Mountains. So they're saying that is the most straight path, but apparently is difficult, and therefore will take the same amount of time as taking the long way around. So the alternate route is a longer journey, nearly 180 miles into the Harad Basin. So the other would take us from here all the way up to here, and then go around into the Ikea Ice Fortress like that. So essentially, the straight path is much shorter but much harder. And then there's heading around to the left there, basically the most clear path, but will take longer even though it's easier. So if we wish to attempt the shorter but more difficult Viad Glacier route, turn to 160. If you'd like to take the longer but easier Harad Basin and Storm Giant Pass route, turn to 273. All right. So I guess here we have the vote for hashtag short or hashtag long. As someone who has hiked on foot a fair amount, longer and easier is the way to go in the snow. Long. Most of our stuff is still set up for sneaky. However, we can take a punk on with having the summer sword. Okay, so y'all seem to be wanting to take the longer route. All right, that seems to be the direction we're going to head. Let's see. 273. You are to travel to Achaia by sledge. 2 sledges have been loaded with enough food and equipment for the mission, each drawn by a team of 6 canoe dogs. This sturdy breed are native to Kalte and make ideal sledge dogs. I know it's supposed to be sled, right? But it says sledge. Am I saying that right? Even sledge with a G? Or is the G silent? The GE, I guess. I'm... Oh, okay. So it's pronounced different, or it's spelled different ways. Sled, sledge, sleigh. It's all the same thing. Ah, it is pronounced with a J. It's British. That's why. So apparently the British pronounce it as sledge instead of sleigh or sled. Raised and raced up here. Copper Top 150 race. Nice. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll be saying sledge because this was actually made in Britain. And so they use a lot of British ways of saying things. So I'll be saying sledge. Two sledges have been loaded with enough food and equipment for the mission, each drawn by a team of 6 canoe dogs. This sturdy breed are native to Kalte and make ideal sledge dogs. Their thick, tawny coats and powerful chests, as well as their renowned vigor and enthusiasm, make them well suited for the harsh work ahead. Your 3 guides, uh, Irine, it's IA, it usually makes the I. Irion? Irion? Irion. Irian? That's really weird. That can be pronounced a whole bunch of different ways depending on the local linguistics. I'm just going to go with Irion. Irion, Fëanor, and Dice, with a Y, are all experienced trappers. They are skilled at survival in this icy desert and have experienced its many unseen dangers. Once the dogs are in harnesses, you and Orion climb aboard your sledge and signal to the others to lead the way. Starting across the frozen expanse of the Lejuk ice shelf, you see the white glare of the Harad Basin edge. Ice blink, they call it, says Orion, his eyes glinting from deep inside the hood of his fur jacket. It's the reflection of the ice shelf. It looks no more than 4 miles away at most, but it's nearer to 40 than 4. The air of Kalte can be very deceptive. The weather is bright and windless, and you make excellent progress on the first day. As darkness sets in, you decide to set up camp for the night. The sledges are drawn together, and the tent is erected in the salient away from the wind. If you have the Kai discipline of 6th sense, turn to 35. If we do not, turn to 112. Well, we do. Well, it's spelled Irian. And depending on where you're from, it could be like Irian, 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 Irian. I mean, any kind of combination of those like I's and E's sounds. So since we do have the Kai discipline of 6th sense, we'll be turning to 35. Yeah, although think about it, tech has changed a lot, and so not only the dogs may be different, but also the technology which allows them to go distances, like the type of sledges that they use, the weight of the equipment, the fact that they're carrying weapons and armor. I mean, that can play a big role. You know, the weight of food even can change depending on the efficiency of the ability to pack in calories. Um, so that can speed up a lot of the distances that they can go in a day. Weight would only be the real difference. Yeah, so there you go. And I'm gonna guess that they're gonna be way more weighed down with between, like, think of it this way. It's a fantasy setting, but at the same time they're essentially at best in the Renaissance era, probably closer to medieval times as far as equipment quality. So everything's going to be heavy, not a lot of, no aluminum, steel at best. A lot of things will be iron and wood. Wood can sometimes be good for friction, sometimes really bad, or for lack of friction rather. But if you have the steel, then you have steel issue, or iron, then iron is way heavier than steel. So yeah. Anyway, 35. You get an uneasy feeling that someone or something is watching you. You leave the tent and peer into the night for some sign of life, but the snow and the darkness hide everything. Reluctantly, you return to the tent and go to sleep with one hand by your weapon in case of a surprise attack. Turn to 291. I'm guessing that there will be. Polar bears. When you awake, you sense that something has changed. It takes nearly a minute to realize that the incessant howling of the night winds has ceased. It's a beautiful morning, says Orion, cheerfully, his head appearing through the tent flap. You quickly climb out of your sleeping furs and stare out over the icy landscape. The Kalte air is fresh and clear. You see a strong mirage in the distance that seems to throw the land up much higher than it could possibly be. We should make it to the rock by nightfall, says Fëanor, as he busily pulls a reluctant canoe dog to its harness. Best to make camp there tonight. The shelter is good, and this far from the sea, a blizzard can whip across the shelf from nowhere in a few minutes. I've known a trapper to be blown for miles if they're careless or unlucky enough to be caught out in the shelf with no cover. That day, the canoe dogs pull strong and true, for the going is smooth across the ice shelf. By nightfall, you have reached the rock, a splinter of granite that has thrust through the ice shelf. Its curious shape reminds you of the King's Citadel in Holmgard. You make camp to the leeward side of the rock to avoid the worst of the night winds. All right, here's where the random number table comes into play. Let's see what happens. We got a 5, right down the middle. So we're going to be turning to 220. Ooh, that page got torn. All right. The next day is bitterly cold. A strong wind from the west blows relentlessly as you steer your sledge towards Harad Basin. The snow clogs your eyes, and your lips crack and bleed. But by the midday, you reach the edge of the basin. Orion and Dice's sledge arrive at the ice wall first, and they eagerly encourage you onward. Without any warning, a great crack appears between the two sledges, opening with a tremendous roar until you are faced by a huge dark crevasse. Frantically, you pull on the reins, but it's too late to prevent your canoe dog team from disappearing into the void. Your sledge is left balanced on the edge of the crevasse, while the team of howling canoe dogs dangles helplessly on the harnesses below you. Very carefully, you risk a glance into the chasm. You see that the first two dogs have broken free and dropped over 150 feet to a ledge below. One of them appears to be dead. The other is badly injured and whimpers beside the still body of its comrade. Suddenly, a shudder jolts the edge, and you gasp with fright. If you wish to crawl with Fëanor to the rear of the sledge, turn to 146. If you decide to try to leap clear of the sledge on the cracked ice, turn to 29. Is chapstick not a thing in D&D? No, probably not. Troll fat, bear fat. Oh, there you go. That's about the closest thing you get. So, all right. So, do we want to try and carefully crawl to the rear to counterbalance? That seems to be what the guide is doing. Or do we want to just jump for it? Because I'm guessing if we jump for it, we're going to send Fëanor down along with the rest of the dogs. That assumes you have bacon. That assumes you have pigs up north. Let's not intentionally kill anyone. Let's not intentionally kill our guides anyway. See, get your third eye blind on. All right, so what are we doing? Are we crawling or are we leaping? Okay, so Slow says he wants to crawl. And Zipporah wants to crawl. Oh, poop, my light bulb just. Oh, that's some weird timing. Crawl? Okay, so we're going to crawl. I didn't have the sound going. Jump like crisscross. Nope, we're going to crawl. So, 146. You gingerly inch your way back to the rear of the sledge, but you hear the cracking of ice as the crevasse opens wider and wider. Jump, shouts Fëanor as the sledge topples into the widening void. You steady yourself to try to leap to safety, but your left foot becomes entangled in the ropes and equipment. If you possess the Summer Sword, turn to 43. If you have Kai Discipline and Mind Over Matter, turn to 121. If you possess neither, then we'll have to do a random number table. With your pants on wrong. Yeah, true. More like, what is it, what is it, the backwards, Oshkosh Bagashas, essentially. So we have the Summer Sword and we have Mind Over Matter. So the question is, which one should we use? I have a feeling that Mind Over Matter will allow us to push ourselves free, and the Summer Sword will cut ourselves free. So slows for Mind Over Matter. I get the feeling, though, that they're both going to do the same thing in the end, just in a different method. Mom's way is the only way. Ha 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 ha. Zip. All right. Mind Over Matter. Mommy. Mommy. All right. So Mind Over Matter is what we're going to do. 121. Mum. Mommy. Mom. Mommy. Mom. Mama. Momo. Mimi. Mama. All right. You are on the very brink of losing your concentration when the rope around your foot loosens and drops away. You dive from the sledge and barely seconds before it crashes into the crevasse. The dreadful cries of the canoe dogs can be heard as they plummet hundreds of feet into the darkness. Quickly, Fëanor runs to your side and drags you away from the crumbling ice edge. You have lost your dog team, your sledge, and most of your food, but at least you are still alive. You and Fëanor jump the widening gap and join the rest of your party. After much discussion, the guides agree to continue with the mission, even though the hardships will now be doubly severe. In the distance, you see a narrow passage at the edge of the ice shelf where it meets the Harad Basin. By nightfall, you reach the shelter of this icy pass and camp there for the night. A quick check of your remaining food reveals the need to cut rations by half if all of you are to reach Achaia. You lose 1 endurance points due to the poor evening meal. Turn to 325. Little hammer there. Mallet, I guess would be the word. Bop. After capturing the guy. Yeah, we will. But we lose 1, and then the second we turn to 325, we'll gain that 1 back since we have healing. Why do those look like squirrels or... Oh, is that the lady? Oh, that's the person that you just got the thing for today. Like a raccoon or something. All right, let's turn to 325. Oh, it's a meerkat. Okay. With the bop. Bop the meerkat. There you go. The next morning arrives bright and windless. The sun pierces the thin layer of cloud, bathing the east in a soft pink glow. This beautiful vision reminds you that your Kai masters once told you that the light of Kalte is unlike anywhere else in Magnamund. With tent and equipment packed, you leave the pass and venture out to the Harad Basin. 100 miles of open ice now lie between you and the Storm Giant Pass. So now, that means our dude is... Let me... There. At first, the journey is easy. The basin has been worn smooth by the wind, and no crevasses lurk unseen beneath the hard, dense snow. But at dawn on the 3rd day, events take a turn for the worse. You are awoken from a deep sleep by Dice, shaking your shoulder. He is frightened. What's wrong, you ask, still bleary-eyed and sleepy. Ice barbarians on the horizon. 20, maybe more. 5 wind sledges and a warrior escort. I think they've seen us. In an instant, you have all climbed out of your sleeping furs and begun to pack away your tent. Dice is correct. They are ice barbarians, and they are heading towards you from the west. If they catch us, we're as good as dead, says Finnar, as he ties the last of the equipment to the sledge. The ice barbarians of Kalte are a fierce and warlike race of nomads. For thousands of years, they have traveled this icy wasteland, trapping furs and herding mammoths. Their only contact with the rest of Magnamund is through the trading post of Lejuk. In summer, when the coast around Lejuk is free from ice, they journey there to trade their furs for weapons and tools, and there is no iron or wood in Kalte. They hate all except their own kind and kill anyone they find who dares to trespass in their icy domain. You soon hear their war cries less than 3 miles distant, and for the first time since you landed, you pray for a blizzard to hide your escape. Turn to 216. Oh yeah, that everyone needs to do that when they get a sub. Heavily crack a hip. Arbitrary big Neanderthals. All right, 216. Oh, we have an art. Okay, so these are the ice barbarians. Each ice barbarian is carrying a backpack containing a child armed with a bone bow. So they carry an archer, a baby archer in their backpack, it seems. What did I just watch? Yeah, y'all can watch that. You have covered less than a mile when the first of the ice barbarian scouts appear to the north on skis. At first, there are only 2 of the fearsome warriors, but they are soon joined by 3 others. They are large, muscular, and bedecked with furs. Some of them wear bone armor. Despite their size, they glide across the snow with almost feline grace and speed. Each of them has a pole attached to his back, from which a small flag flutters. Suddenly, a bone-tipped arrow whistles past your knee and embeds itself in the sledge. An ice barbarian scout skis past to your right. He is less than 10 yards away, and you can clearly see his slanted eyes and sharp cheekbones. You suddenly realize you had mistaken for muscle and fur is in fact an ice barbarian child. Each scout is carrying a large backpack containing a small child. These children are armed with small bone bows, and they fire a constant stream of arrows as their father skis nearer and nearer. Suddenly, Iran falls, an arrow buried in his back. Dice runs to his aid, but is shot down before he has taken a dozen steps. Fenor is hit. An arrow passes straight through his throat. He bravely staggers on for nearly a minute before collapsing in the snow. You are on your own. An ice barbarian scout skis past you to your left and returns towards you head on. He has a spear under one arm, which is leveled at your chest. If you wish to fight the ice barbarian scout, turn to 158. If you wish to try to escape, turn to 149. Some kind soul gifted me a sub, and now she's run uphill. Right? I don't know. They seem to be like really good at going like up and downhill and everything like that. I wouldn't necessarily even trust that. We're in their home territory. Yeah, having your back to people to run away so they can fire an arrow at you sounds like a bad plan to me. And that's just me. So it seems like the best idea would be to fight. That's just me. So fight or run, that is up to y'all. Stand and fight. All right. What happened to the audio? Keep clicking audio, it starts playing, but then it stops. There we go. Cobra Kai never dies, okay. Vicious Viper. Alright. That seems like the plan. We're gonna fight. 158. We definitely have the advantage. As the Ice Barbarian Scout is on skis, you will only be able to fight one round of combat before the momentum of his attack carries past you. Ice Barbarian Scout, combat skill 20, endurance 28. If you sustain a higher endurance point loss than the enemy in this one round of combat, turn to 165. If the Ice Barbarian Scout loses more endurance points than you in this one round of combat, turn to 271. If you both lose exactly the same number, turn to 337. Okay. So this is interesting. This is a little bit of a twist on combat here. Cobra Kai never dies. Cobra Kai never dies. So he's 2028 and we are 26. So we are still greatly at an advantage. Twenty. 28. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen... I've seen, like, clips of it, but I've not sat down to watch it. Okay, so yeah, 28. Alright, so we're going to be working with this line. So actually, no matter what damage we do, we will be rolling the first one, where he takes more damage than us. It's good because we rolled a 1. So he takes 6, we take 4. So we're down to 22. He goes down to 22 as well. So he had more to start. Now we have the same amount of endurance points. Filming season 4. Oh, that's cool. A lot of Netflix shows don't last that long. If the Ice Barbarian Scout loses more endurance points than you, turn to 271. There we go. Even the really good ones, like... I'm still waiting for it to come in, but... Altered Carbon had 2 seasons and an anime, and that was it. That's all I got. Altered Carbon was amazing. But it's kind of like... Probably the price of filming our Altered Carbon was way higher. So they could have more viewers of Altered Carbon than, say, even Cobra Kai, but Cobra Kai's low price of filming, because of the lack of CG, would mean that they're more sustainable, therefore able to film longer. Now, I have an RPG. I was a Kickstarter backer for the Altered Carbon RPG. Ice Barbarian. Okay, so 271. And we get a point back since there's not combat there. Okay. Your attack has caused the Ice Barbarian Scout to lose his balance. He tumbles in a flurry of snow and broken skis. The fur-clad child rolls clear of his father's backpack and lies face downward in the snow less than 10 feet away. The Ice Barbarian Scout is badly dazed by the fall, but is already attempting to stagger to his feet. If you wish to attack the Ice Barbarian Scout before he fully regains his senses, turn to 241. If you wish to grab the child as a hostage and try to escape, turn to 262. I can see the child, like, stabbing us in the neck as we try to run away. There isn't much green screening either. See, exactly, yeah. But what do y'all want to do? Fight or child? Kid will cry. I don't know, that seems like a tough kid. He's probably already killed a few people. Sapporo says, vicious viper. I mean, I saw a few of them, but right now we seem to be mainly dealing with one. So, yep, we have 2 for attack. Plus, I'm guessing they probably respect combat. Probably don't respect child kidnappers? I don't know. This is all... Not that I think grabbing this child is a good idea, but I feel like we're not going to fight our way out of this. Possibly. I don't know. I can just see this child stabbing us in the neck if we just grab him while still alive. I don't know. I'm out of my depth as far as guessing as to which one might be the smarter idea. But it seems to be the consensus is for attacking, so that's what we'll do. 241. Ice Barbarian is on his knees. When you enter combat, he cannot react to your attack during the first 2 rounds. Ignore any endurance points you lose during the first 2 rounds of combat. So he's back to 28 endurance, but he only has a combat skill of 18 now. Or may not care if you took a child. Yeah, that's just it. I don't know. Because they also send their children to fight you, so it's like... So this is going to be even easier. We got to start back at 28, but he also doesn't do any damage to us for the first 2 rounds. And we have a +8 on this dude. Right there. So yeah, now we're on this. 7-4 versus a... Oh, this could be an auto kill if it rolled a 0. I like that, them odds. That's a 9. Good roll. Good roll. Alright, he takes 16 damage. Nice. So he's down to 12 now. So, essentially, any roll higher than 6, he dies. Oh, boy. Try again. A 5. Of course we roll. So, he doesn't give any damage to us since this is the second round, but he takes 10 damage. He's now down to 2. Anything, so he dies 3rd round no matter what. It's a matter of question of do we get hurt or not. 5. So... Oh, no, wait. I was wrong. 5 does 11 damage. So he goes down to... But we still... So we get 2 damage this turn. Bringing us down to 21. And he wasn't down to 2, he was down to 1. So now... He goes to -10. He did. Why? Yeah, why can't we ever... 186. We won. And we get a point back. The dead Ice Barbarian's child cowers over his father's body and stares at you with hatred blazing in his eyes. You notice that the other Ice Barbarian scouts are closing in and you must act quickly to save yourself. You decide to use the boy as a hostage, but he is like a wild animal. He bites, scratches, and kicks to free himself from your grip. Turn to 320. Well, y'all attacked us first. What do you expect? Another illustration. Oh, they dare not attack while you're holding your child hostage. Okay. I guess that wasn't. You managed? You manage to hang on to the struggling child and remove a bone dagger from his boot to prevent him from stabbing you in the back. Oh, I was on the right track at least. He was going to try and stab us. The ice barbarians have drawn themselves up into a circle around you, but they dare not attack while you are holding one of their children as a hostage. Holding the bone dagger to the child's throat, you slowly inch your way towards the sledge. You soon realize that you will never be able to outdistance them on a loaded sledge. You will have to think of something, and quickly. If you wish to cut the equipment loose, free the ice barbarian child and escape on the unloaded sledge, turn to 190. If you wish to cut loose the equipment but keep the boy with you as a hostage during your escape, turn to 33. So we know that they're going to fire on us the second we let go of the kid. But will the kid try to kill us first? That's the question. So, y'all thinking free the kid or take the kid? That's what it's down to. So, Artist says take the kid. Slow says take the kid. The child. Are we about to have a Groot? Not Groot. A, Grogu. Alright, so we're gonna take the kid. Return to 33. Let's see what happens. You remind me of the babe. Babe with the power. What power? Power of voodoo. What babe? Throwing the boy in the sledge, you grab the whip and lash the canoe dogs, driving them for everything they are worth. The ice barbarian scouts immediately give chase, shouting to the boy in their strange Kalte language. You have recovered less than 100 yards when the boy leaps from the sledge into the deep snowdrift. At the same time, a volley of bone-tipped arrows whistle past your head, and one grazes your shoulder. You lose 1 endurance point. But we also gained 1, so we're just gonna call it even. Although the boy is free, 2 scouts continue to pursue you, but your dog team is fast, and you have soon outdistanced them and their arrows. By nightfall, you reach the very edge of the Viad Mountains. These awesome granite mountains rise vertically out of the ice and snow. They will be impossible to cross on this cold and moonless night. A wind rises in the west, heralds a night blizzard. You must find shelter or you will die of exposure. Wish to seek northward, we can turn this, we can seek southward, or if we have the Kai discipline of either tracking or sixth sense, we turn to 348. So yeah, we have tracking and sixth sense, so we're going to turn to 348. That'll tell us where to go, so it won't be a 50-50 chance. Your Kai discipline reveals to you that there are a network of caves less than a couple hundred yards to the south. You abandon the sledge and search southwards. Wait, are we abandoning the dogs too, just leaving them to die? Are we taking the dogs with us? No. 314. You have explored only 100 yards of the rock face when you discover a large fissure, the entrance to a cave. In your eagerness to escape from the bitter winds, you quickly enter and, in the darkness, fail to notice the crevasse that divides the cave in two. In a tumble of ice and stone, you fall headfirst into the dark. 240. Well, it doesn't matter if we have the dogs either way, because we just fell into a crevasse. 240. Now, we had come... the Viad Mountains. So we are now here. I love them too, Slow, but not when they are cold and dry. They need to be warm. Makes sense. So now we are there. Where's your Kai powers now? Well, let's find out. Let's see what happens. We gain a point back though. Actually 2 because I forgot one. We're up to 24. Oops. You fall over 30 feet and land flat on your back in the snow-filled crevasse. You are surrounded by sharp stalagmites and jagged ice, but you have miraculously escaped death and injury. Shaken, but thankful to be alive, you stagger to your feet and grasp a crystal stalagmite for support. You slowly become aware that you can see your hand quite clearly. A faint light is seeping from the fissure to your left. With curiosity getting the better of your natural caution, you stagger across the grass floor and explore this mysterious cave. Credit 284. After a few hundred yards, you find yourself in a huge cavern that spreads out in all directions as far as the eye can see. You have entered the Cavern of Kalte. The Caverns of Kalte. Oh! Huh. I wonder. We were always meant to go here, I guess. You have entered the Caverns of Kalte and are now looking at an uncharted world that few Summerlending have ever seen. Yeah, sure. This massive underground labyrinth was constructed by the ancients, many ages before the Summerlending set foot in Magnum. Oh, this is the same people who had that creepy, graveyard that we had to go through. Same folks. We won! We'll see. Its wide avenues, temples, and arenas once echoed to the sounds of a race of creatures for whom the ice was a natural home. Malar bowls still hang from the ceiling, bathing the caverns in their eternal light. You trek steadily northward for nearly 6 hours until you arrive at the bank of a fast-flowing meltwater river. On the opposite bank, you see a tunnel leading off into the distance. You can find no apparent way of crossing the deep water, except by using the ice flows bobbing up and down on the surface. By jumping from one flow to the next, you could get to the opposite bank, but it will not be easy. You will have to jump at least 3 of the icy slabs to reach the other side. We got here with 0 allies or supplies left. You're right. Like, oh, we are all set to go. Gone. Just swipe, swipe, boom, boom, gone. Pick a number from the random number table. If you have the Kai discipline of hunting, you may add 2 to the number you pick. If your current endurance points total less than 8, deduct 2. So, we're good on EP. So we don't deduct 2. We do not have hunting. See, they had to come up with a use for hunting, so we don't get to add 2 either. So I have a feeling it's not going to go well unless we roll 4 or higher. As long as we don't tell him, we will get him with our army. Alright. Let's see what happens. I have a feeling we're going to die if we roll too low. Don't use the last guy. So what, this one? So you wanted me to use a different die for this roll? Oops. You know what? I'm keeping that. It popped right out of my hands and rolled a 9. So I'm going to keep that. I'm leaving that alone. You see that? Just poop right out of my hand. It rolled. Keeping it. 176. Yeah, right. Running for the tunnel entrance, you quickly leave the icy river far behind. You follow the tunnel for countless hours as it wends its way northwards. It becomes impossible to recall what hour of the day it is. The perpetual half-light of these caverns never changes. Through fissures in the wall of the tunnel, you catch glimpses of other chambers, and you marvel at the sheer scale of the labyrinth. Must have liked that I called it pretty. You're like, oh, I like it when you talk nice to me. You are nearly asleep on your feet when you suddenly detect the aroma of cooked meat. It is coming from a chamber just a few yards ahead to your right. You are very hungry and must soon eat a meal. So if you want to investigate the chamber, turn to 5. If you wish to ignore the chamber and continue, turn to 132. So what do y'all think? Want to check out the meal? We're good for endurance. We got good fight skills. Might be an opportunity to get some food. On the off chance that it's not a combat. Chamber of Secrets. That's more of an icy color. Anyone else have an opinion? Alright, in that case, we're gonna check it out, it seems. Turning to 5. Oh. Ice Barbarian. Old one by the look of it. Oh, 2 men. Ragged clothes held together beside a small fire. You can see 2 men in ragged clothes huddled together beside a fire that seems to be burning inside a small metal bowl. Over the flame, the skinned carcass of a small animal is roasting on a spit. The men are old and toothless, and they have a strange glint of madness in their slanted eyes. You can either approach them and ask for some food, attack them, or ignore them and go on our way. I have a feeling that the whole madness thing might be a... Obi-Wan, cold Nobi. Right. Yeah, I think the madness thing is a, it's a red herring. Like, oh, well, they look crazy, so obviously I should just fight them. But it turns out they're just kind of old and crazy, but not aggressive. They're gonna be like, I'm crazy, but you look like my son because I'm crazy. Pass. So, I'm not sure what Strauss is supposed to be, but, or artist is supposed to be, but Slow looks like his says let's ignore him. Please, sir, could I have some food? So Sapporo wants to ask for food. So I guess it's down to Artist. What do you think? You want to ask them for food or leave or fight? If you say fight, then we're at a standstill. Okay. So it seems the consensus is to ask them for some food. Let's see what happens. 295. On seeing you enter, the two old men jump to their feet and flee from the chamber along a smaller passageway. Their screams of panic echo loudly throughout the caverns. You are very hungry and quickly consume their cooked meat animal, pausing only to spit out the bones. You then notice that the fire is burning. Cool, that actually turned out. In a half-spherical metal bowl. The other half of the sphere lies on the icy floor nearby, and you find that both halves fit together perfectly. When you open it, you discover that the fire still burns inside. If you wish to keep the fire sphere, place it in your jacket and mark it on your action chart as a special item. Cool. So we got a special item on top of it all. Let's mark that. Let's take the seal away since that's done. We probably handed that off, like we had to give it to him in order to get the sword. So... fire sphere. And we got to eat. So as long as they didn't, like, alert anyone, we're pretty good. Return to the tunnel at 1:32. Unless you have just eaten a meal, you lose 3 endurance points from hunger. You continue along the tunnel for over a mile. But you soon become tired and stop to sleep. You awaken feeling refreshed but have no idea just how long you have been sleeping. The light of these caverns never changes, be it day or night. You continue onward, mile after mile, passing through a series of huge ice halls containing towering pillars of crystal. In one vast chamber, you are mesmerized by the beautiful sight of a shimmering crystal ceiling, but beyond this chamber lies an even greater spectacle. A narrow passage leads on to a ledge running around the brink of a huge chasm, over half a mile wide. As you edge your way around the awesome void, you try not to look down into its wind-swept depths many miles below. You have been on the ledge only a few minutes when a noise behind you makes you glance back. To your horror, you see you are being followed by a monstrous two-headed serpent. If you have the Kai discipline of either tracking or animal kinship, turn to 229. We do have those. Both, actually. We have a pet fire. Exactly. It's my pet fire. Let's finish up our endurance points. We're all back up. Build up. Fire, I choose you. Thunk. Exactly. Alright, since we have them, we use them. Here, and turn to 229. You recognize the serpent to be a Javik, a two-headed and deadly poisonous ice snake. As it slithers nearer, you can clearly see the open jaw of the second head and the yellow curved fangs dripping with venom. It moves very quickly, and you know that you will not be able to outrun it along the narrow ledge. If you possess a fire sphere, turn to 46. If you do not, you must prepare to fight and turn to 88. Well, look at that! It really is. It's, what is it, Ekans versus Fire Sphere. Step off that ledge, my friend. Yeah. Well, let's try this Fire Sphere. We have it, so we get to use it. Jeez. Turns out it was good that we tried to approach them. You remove this fire sphere from your jacket. Quickly split open the two halves and place them upon the narrow ledge behind. The Javik hisses loudly, both its heads weaving and darting at you in rage. It is desperate to attack, but it will not approach the fire sphere. Instead, it attempts to slither around the flames, but the ledge is very narrow, no more than a foot wide. It cannot pass without singeing itself. Eventually, angry, powerless, the strange reptile resigns itself to failure and disappears back along the ledge and into the passageway beyond. You can now retrieve your fire sphere and continue your exploration. Turn to 269. Fire Dolkin! It's a good thing we can pick that up. We're definitely not incentivized to fight most of the time, considering we don't get XP for it. It's kind of like Bloodlines that we've been playing. The only time you're incentivized to fight anything is if you think you can get anything from its corpse. You reach a tunnel on the far side of the chasm, and follow it for many miles. You eventually arrive at an enormous chamber, the ceiling of which towers 500 feet above you. An icy wind blowing through the many fissures that crack the ceiling whips around the hall. If you wish to search for a way of climbing up and out through the fissures, turn to 335. If you decide to press on and look for an exit on the far side of the hall, turn to 182. Yeah, it does seem like we're doing pretty well. So far. Nothing wood, yeah. This thing is definitely made of wood. Built it myself. So, do we want to try and climb or press on? Look for an exit past it. Down the hall, okay. Does seem a little precarious to try to do. Anyway, so hardest seems to be let's stay inside. Slow or Zapporo, do y'all have an opinion on whether or not to climb up or continue to look for another exit somewhere else? Continue? Okay. So the overall theme seems to be continue. So let's go ahead and go with that. Where'd that go? Press on. 182. Also, I'm knitting a hat for real. That's cool. Alright, you discover a low passage that opens out into a cavern full of stalagmites. There are two exits in the opposite ice wall. Both disappear into the darkness. In the snow around the entrance of both tunnels are many strange tracks. Okay, we have... Yes, we do have tracking, so we get to use that. 75. The tracks have been made by a dangerous and carnivorous creature called a Baknar. If you run into them in the confines of a dark and narrow tunnel, your chances of survival will be very slim indeed. Although your Kai discipline enables you to identify the tracks, you are unable to sense which tunnel the Baknar occupy. So what they're saying is it's a 50-50 chance. Therapeutic. Yeah, no, I definitely would see that. I used to feel the same way about making chainmail. So do we want to go left or right? So we're literally at a fork in the road. Hashtag left, hashtag right. Please. Thank you, Sapporo. Very helpful. Alright, Slow wants to go right. Got my stuff in storage. Yep. Been there. Artist wants to go left, so Sapporo, it's down to you. Left or right? Well, that's weird. Right. Okay, so we're gonna go right. See what happens. 114. I went too far. I'm going the wrong way. Oh, of course, the Bacnar is here. You have covered less than 50 yards when you arrive at another cavern. Lying upon a raised dais of ice in the center of a frozen chamber is a Bacnar, a fierce and carnivorous ice creature. It seems to be sound asleep, and the remains of an animal lie scattered around the slab. In the far wall of the chamber lies another tunnel. If you wish to creep stealthily past the Bacnar, turn to 23. If you wish to attack the creature, turn to 101. If you have the Kai discipline of hunting, turn to 279. We do not have hunting. So, it's full and we're sneaky. So, yeah, we have sneaker fight. Slow's thinking sneak. Sneaky snack. That seems to be the consensus. Sneak. Yep. Everyone's saying sneak. You're definitely going to sneak. 23. You are lucky. The Bacnar are known to sleep for anything up to 3 days, especially after they have eaten a huge meal. This Bacnar will sleep for another 24 hours at least. You slip past the creature and leave the chamber. Turn to 235. Sneaky snake. So we got past 235. Oh, we have come to this. After a short walk, you arrive at a massive ice hall full of crystal stalagmites and stalactites. The floor is covered with animal tracks and bones, yet the vast hall seems empty and still. You notice that the northern wall is a completely smooth surface of granite blocks stretching upwards to the icy ceiling, over 100 feet above. You suddenly realize that you are staring at the foundation stone of Ikea. You have reached the ice fortress. So it comes to this. Partially obscured by the large mound of crystals, you can just make out a ramp leading up to a massive stone door in the fortress wall. Your discovery brings renewed hope. If you can gain entry to Ikea and quickly capture Vonatar, there is still time to reach your ship, the Cordonal, before the pack ice starts to freeze. If you wish to cross the icy hall and examine the stone door, turn to 52. If you decide to stop and search the bone-littered floor, turn to 115. That sounds like a duh thing. Stop and check for things. But what do y'all say? Because that could give us a clue, like we could be walking right into something. Only Feanor can see this. Right? So, y'all want to cross or search? Alright, Slow wants to search. Sorch. Look at feet. Alright, so the consensus is to search. Let's go ahead and do that. 150. I went too far. You discover that many of the bones scattered among the stalagmites are of human origin. Shattered skulls, skeletal hands, and rib cages lie half buried in the ice. You are about to abandon your search when a small box made of carved bone catches your eye. If you wish to open it, turn it to 18. If you prefer to leave it, you can examine the fortress door by turning to 52. So, we're looking at a Pandora's box situation. Could be something really cool in there, or something really deadly. What do y'all think? Want to fully commit and open it, or continue back to the door? It could be. What's in the box? What's in the box? Curious Cat. Step 1. Alright. Ooh. The bone box contains a beautiful diamond. Its many facets gleam and sparkle, even in the dim half-light of the ice hall. In Summerland, a jewel of this size and quality would be worth thousands of crowns. If you wish to keep the diamond, slip it into your pocket and mark it on your action chart as a special item. You can now examine the fortress door by turning to 52. Do we wish to keep it? I'm going to go ahead and say yes and write it down, but if y'all say no, I'll erase it. Yeah, I know. It's always like that. Oh, if you have a diamond on you, turn to this. Then it turns out to be really terrible. And like it explodes on you. Keep the shiny things. Yeah. I mean, I think so, but you never know with these stories. But let's turn to 52 while we do that.
My precious. Have yourself a merry little precious little Yuletide. From now on, our precious will be far away. Here we are, is in the first age, happy golden age. Here we are.
Alright. As you climb the slippery stone ramp... Dude, I got a video, okay? 1 year for Christmas, I did Have Yourself a Merry Little Precious. It's an actual video that you can find on one of my YouTubes. I think it's the Fable Runner one. It's bad. It's funny, but it's bad. As you climb the slippery stone ramp, the sound of cracking ice makes you spin round. The large mound of crystals at the base of the ramp is beginning to move. The crystals are alive. You stare in disbelief as the mound is transformed into a writhing mass of crystal coils. The coils unwind, and the ice creature slithers towards you. If you wish to evade the creature and run towards the stone door, turn to 169. If you wish to fight it, turn to 265. Thanks, Slow. So are we going to try to run away, or are we going to try and fight this thing? Seems to be an ice creature. Run away! Run away! So Artist wants to run. Run, Forrest, run! You hear about Forrest Gump's email password? He was a little bit insecure. It was 1 Forrest 1. Alright, so it seems y'all want to run. 169. He said he's already got... He said he's already got one. I know. Thank you, we've already got one. As you reach the massive door, you desperately cast your eyes open over it in hopes of discovering a way to make it open. The door is completely smooth. It has no handle, lock, or keyhole. The creature will soon reach the top of the ramp, and you are about to cry out in desperation when you notice a block of granite set into the nearby wall. It has a small triangle cut into the surface. Oh no. If you possess a blue stone triangle, turn to 41. When did we ever get a bluestone? No. When would we have gotten a bluestone triangle? We obviously didn't go somewhere. We don't have one, so we gotta fight. 265. Hopefully we don't immediately die. So we gotta fight this crystal one. Yeah, no, not diamond. It specifically wants a blue stone triangle. So... oh, his combat skill is not that bad. He has a high endurance, but... oh, this will be easy. Strange creature is a crystal frostworm, a scavenging beast now living on the remains of the unfortunate creatures who have entered the cavern. Its hard skin is almost transparent, and its internal organs can be seen pulsating inside. A large mouth opens in the crystalline head to reveal rows upon rows of jagged crystal teeth. Your back is pressed to the stone door, and there is no way to evade the monster. You must fight the creature to the death. It is immune to Mind Blast. So, combat skill 15, endurance of 30. That is not bad at all. That'll be an easy fight. So... let's set it up. 15. Now, sorry. So that means we get a plus 11. which means we have chances for insta-kills. Stab here and here, and once here, right? Okay. So we're at plus 11. So worst he can do is 3 damage to us. And starting here, we insta-kill. So 8 or higher is an insta-kill. Looks good to me. Maybe there'll be a blue diamond inside of it. Or a blue triangle. A 9! You know what that is? Insta-kill! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. If I win, turn to 3. Boom. 30 endurance my butt. That was just like straight through the eye, into the brain, dead. You watch with a mixture of fascination and revulsion as each segment of the creature shatters and then slowly dissolves into the ice. Soon, all that remains of the crystal frostworm are the undigested contents of its stomach. To your surprise, in the center of this mess of fetid flesh and bone, you can see the shank of a silver key. Damn it, Jerry. Why do they keep dying? If you wish to take this key, turn to 280. If you'd rather ignore it and look for a way to open the fortress door, turn to 344. Why does it give us an option to take the key? I don't know, boss. Made the skin see-through this time. I thought it would help. Okay. Take the key or no. I'm gonna guess there's like stomach acid on it and we'll take damage or something. That's the only thing I can guess. If we take it, we get a little bit of damage from, like, stomach acid. That's what occurs to me. But it's up to y'all. Take the key or not. Uh-oh, what happened, everyone? That's weird. Y'all are here, but it's saying 3. Alright, artist wants the key. And Slow wants the key. So the majority vote seems to be for the key. So let's see what happens. I was right. The key is coated with a corrosive digestive acid that burns through your mittens and attacks your fingers. Lose 1 endurance point. But we also gain endurance points, so. You drop the key and plunge your hand to the snow with ease to ease the pain. If you still wish to keep the key, you can wipe it in the snow before replacing it in your pocket, but remember to mark it and your action chart as a special item. You must now search for a way of opening the fortress door. Turn to 344. So. See, 344, no combat. So we also get a silver key. Pretty much for free because of healing. The only time this would be a problem is if we have like 1 hit point left. Like that would have been enough to be like, owie. Keep key, owie. Alright. The fortress door is completely smooth. It has no visible lock, hinge, or keyhole. However, turning your attention to the granite wall, you notice that one of the massive blocks is different to all the others. A small triangle has been cut into the surface. If you possess a blue stone triangle, turn to 41. If you do not, turn to 147. Okay, so this time we're not fighting we gotta turn somewhere else because we do not have... grab a key and die. Since we do not, we have to turn to 147. So we have to basically find a way to open this door or abandon it. Kalka? Why does that sound familiar? It seems like this is something we should have fought earlier. Oh dear. Okay, you search every square inch of the door and surrounding walls, but there appears to be no unusual features. You're examining as a stone ramp when a loud roar freezes your blood. A Kalkoth has entered the ice hall. You turn to see the creature bounding towards you. Its jaws are wide open, revealing its barbed tongue. Barbed tongue, that means it's poisonous. You cannot evade the Kalkoth, and you must fight it to the death. It has a combat skill of 10, so it's going to be an easy fight, but we apparently cannot let it hurt us, because if we lose any, we turn to 66. If we win the combat without losing any endurance points, turn to 84. So, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll get another insta-kill, that would be nice. Feeling pretty nervous about this. Like they're gonna insta-kill us if we get poisoned. Don't get tongued. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Doing something. Was I... Okay. That's fine. I'm fighting. Okay. Okay. Doing okay. Check it out. Got a 9. So that is an insta-kill. Woo. Is anyone else curious what happens if we get hurt by it at all? Anyone else want to look at that just to see what happens? So much fighting in this book, right? It's the ice. Live or die. No peeking. You don't want to go see? Or you just want to keep going? Alright. That was a K. No spoilers in case we die. Fair enough. I'm like, I get the feeling like that's an insta-death. I get that feeling. Like, it's going to be one of those, as soon as it touches us, it is poisoned and we are dead. Endurance points. Without losing, turn to 84. Especially considering they give us a combat skill of 10. They've given us things with combat skills like 20 and stuff. You know? So, 84. So we had to fight this thing. You notice that the Kalkoth had a blue triangle stone on a chain around its neck. Suddenly, you realize the significance of this strange amulet. Grabbing the blue stone, you race back to the fortress door and press it into the wall recess. It is a perfect fit. You become aware of a faint tremor running through the ledge on where you're standing, followed by the grinding noise of stone upon stone. The door opens, but it has only opened 3 feet when there's a large crack and it starts to close. Without a second's hesitation, you dive into the fortress and hear the massive door crash shut behind you. See, this is the sort of thing you expect. I made this mechanism 5,000 years ago. Yeah. That's a very enthusiastic yay. Or yeah. See, I made this mechanism 5,000 years ago. It is way past its prime. It should have been replaced by now, so the mechanism starting to work suddenly fails. Alright, so turn to 221. Mom. It said it can move small objects. I'm pretty sure it can't move a whole door. We aren't Jedi. At least not yet. The corridor in which you now stand is far warmer than the icy cavern outside. For the first time in many days, you can lower the hood on your cloak and remove your mittens without risking frostbite. You notice that the stone passage ascends to a landing where another passage branches off to the east. Malaire bowls hang at regular intervals along the arched ceilings, their unnatural light illuminating the carved walls. As you approach the landing, you notice an archway leading into a small room beyond. A strange sight meets your eyes. Ragged furs, pottery shards, and the debris of hundreds of years seem to have been thrown into this chamber. A large lever protrudes from the wall beside the archway. If you wish to enter the room and investigate the contents, turn to 38. If you wish to pull the lever, turn to 163. If you wish to explore eastward, turn to 237. And that's it. So, it seems like this is the trash room. And while we might find something, this also might be a huge trap. Like, this thing might be a compactor, especially since it has a lever. Or it might be a furnace. Oh, let's burn our trash. In which case, if there's any special items in there, they will be destroyed. But we will not be, because we'll know that it is a fiery furnace. But Slow wishes to pull the lever. Wrong lever. Pull the lever, Crunk! Wrong lever! Why do we even have that lever? Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Squeak, squeaker, squeakity, squeakin'. You owe me a new acorn. So, seems the majority says pull the lever. So we're gonna see what happens when we pull the lever. 163. There we go. As you lower the lever, a stone door slides across the sealed and seals off the rubbish-strewn chamber. When you raise the lever, the stone door slides open once again. If you wish to enter the room and investigate, turn to 38. If you wish to continue, turn to 237. Check for treasure. Oh no. Well, here's the thing. We can now enter. We know that it does not crush anything. We know it doesn't burn anything. However, if we walk into there, someone may walk by and close the lever. Close the door. In which case, we're stuck in there. So, I'll let y'all decide if you want to leave or check it out. But I'm going to go fill up my drink. I'm empty. So, yeah, it does seem like a trap. But there's stuff in there. Could be treasure, could be junk. We do have room for more. We have 3 more slots. For regular backpack items. And technically we're unlimited in our special items section. because it's just where you list your special items. So I say let's go for it because you never know what might be useful. But slow says pass. Okay, Sapporo, thanks for joining with us, and we'll see you next week. You have a good night. Artist, what do you think? So artist wants to treasure, slow wants to pass. So I am going to be, since we don't have Sapporo with us, so let's go ahead and I'll be the tiebreaker, and let's check it out. After 10 minutes of searching the room, you discover an old fur backpack and a long coil of rope. You may take the backpack only if you do not already wear one. The rope counts as 2 backpack items, as it takes up extra space. Finally satisfied that there's nothing else of value in this junk-filled room, you leave and continue your exploration along the east passage. Turn to 237. We have a backpack. And so we have rope now. We now have one more slot open. There we go. Turn to 237. You soon reach the bottom of a flight of broad stone steps that ascends northward to a landing 30 feet above. The center of each step has been worn smooth by the feet of countless creatures that once inhabited the lower levels of Kalte. As you climb, you wonder how long you will remain undetected. So far, you have neither seen nor heard any other living soul in these deserted passages. Kai uses escape rope. You have the element of surprise on your side. You now pray that Vonatar is unprepared for an intruder from the depths of his own fortress. You reach the landing and pass through an empty hall, towards a darkened archway beyond. Here, the passage splits and branches off towards the east and west. You are now hungry and must eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. Alright, so we're at hashtag east or west at this point. And I will use one of the meals. All right. Flip a coin. Oh, that's right. Dude has a meme. The artist wants to go east. Slow wants to flip a coin. So, you know what? How about we'll see if artist agrees. 0 through 4. Moving west. Artist gets 5 through 9. 9. So we're going east. Just suddenly I'm rolling really high. East. 92. You walk along the passage for several minutes. Flip a coin to the east, oh valley of lone wolf. You walk along the passage for several minutes until it takes a left turn. To your dismay, you see that a huge fissure has opened, destroying most of the walls and floors of this new passage. The gaping hole is dark and wide. If you have a rope, turn to 133. If we do not, we'll have to retrace and turn into 297. But guess what? We have a rope. So why don't we try using that since we have the rope? 133. A Malar bowl hangs from the ceiling directly above the fissure. If you wish to try to attach your rope to the bowl and swing across, turn to 201. If you do not wish to risk falling into the fissure, return along the passage and take the other route by turning to 297. So, at this point, it's up to y'all. Do you want to try and Indiana Jones this thing, or do you want to go back the other way? I get the feeling that if we make the gap, that makes that this is like the easier path to go on, and that the other way will be fraught with more like problems. I don't know. I'm guessing. What do y'all think? You want to try and swing across, or you do want to backtrack and head west? Alright, so you're saying no super risks, so heading back west? Oh dear. Y'all are split. Okay, let's go east. Alright, let's try it. 201. The bowl creaks and splinters of stone fall from the ceiling as you swing across the black fissure, but you are lucky. The rope holds and you land safely on the other side. With a flick of your wrist, you retrieve the rope and set off along the passage. You have gone only a few yards when you notice an arched stone door to your left, adorned with a strange carving. These carvings depict hundreds of skeletons entwined around a smooth block of stone. To the side of the door, you see a lever in the wall is raised. If you wish to pull the lever and open the door, turn to 110. If you wish to continue along the passage, turn to 63. Okay. Pull the lever or ignore it and continue. dude looks like he's humping a block. Like, I really like this little black block. It's cool. Sounds like creepy, spoopy skeleton. Creepy, spoopy skeleton. I don't remember the rest of the song. Doop, doop, doop. What are y'all thinking? Want to try and open the door? Should pass it up, but the room may have loot we need. Yeah, kind of like the room with the rope. It's tricky. It's like a guessing game. Do we risk it? Is this the place they want us to go? That dude. Are you trying to say that the skeleton is that dude? Do it? Alright. So, let's go ahead and do it then. Pull the lever. Hopefully this isn't the wrong lever. Pull the lever! The stone door grinds open to reveal a small, dimly lit chamber. A black monolith, 8 feet high, stands directly in front of you. It is covered with strange symbols. You advance to get a clearer look, but the door suddenly begins to close behind you. There is no lever inside the chamber. If you wish to take a dive through the shrinking gap, turn to 283. If you prefer to stay where you are, turn to 258. Oh my. So, do we wish to risk getting stuck in there? Or do we run out? Alright, artist says dive. Slow, what do you think? You want to dive too? Never said we wanted to go in. Yeah, alright, so let's dive for it. 283. The door is closing fast. There's very little space left through which to escape. Pick a number from the random number table. If you have a high discipline of hunting, you may have to... So basically, since we can't use hunting, all these little skill checks are using hunting like it's a dexterity skill check. I have a feeling we die if we get to 04. But let's see what happens. 2! We're gonna die. Unfortunately, you mistime your dive with disastrous consequences. Both your legs are crushed by the closing door and you slowly bleed to death. Your life and your mission end here. That's tough. That is tough. It's just a flesh wound, right? It was past due. True. All those 9s, yeah. Alright, death count. It's pinged up to 7. Yeah, so here's a rule I'm adding. We only get to die, like, auto deaths. So things with random number table auto deaths, we only get to do them once. So like that time before with the ship or whatever, when you roll the same exact thing in a row, it's like, no, that's boring. You need to experience new stories. So we'll count them as a death, and we'll re-roll for the same death. So like if we come to the same door situation, we decide to do the same thing for whatever reason. When it's a roll out of our control. Exactly. Because then it's like, okay, it was fun to have experienced it once. It's like, whoa, there are consequences. And then it's like if you keep dying, the same exact same way, you're like,